Honestly, this was a good album. You know, the way he talked about basically the ills of the world, addiction, fake friends, money problems, a journey of discovery, love, depression. It was a great, record. The main thing that stood out to me was the last record, 1985, where he just basically talking to all the new rappers, all the so-called mumble rappers, and just letting them know, like, the way y'all doing music, it's not gonna last. You know what I mean? You won't be here within 5 years, and a lot of them won't. A lot of them won't be here in like 1 or 2 years. But prominently, he's talking to particularly 1 or 2 people that personally came out and disrespected him in a way to where it made them look kind of dumb, because it's just like this mentality they got where it's just like,
Jesus wasn't white nor black, I can't knock it. Somewhat Arab and one hell of a prophet. Don't understand why J.Cole talking about false prophets. Didn't mention higher ups, changing name to Amber Cole. These fucking entertainers is playing by the rules.
I have to allow myself to be a fan of whatever the fuck enters my life. So like last year, and the kid got punched on stage. Kid X got punched on stage. And it was like clearly big enough to like make it into my realm. We was on tour or something, niggas like, yo, you just see this kid get knocked the fuck out? We watching the video like, oh shit. Getting the backstory, boom, boom. I don't know who none of these kids are at this time. And I'm like, damn, like what does bro do? Like, so that leads me to like hear some of his shit. I'm like, damn, this nigga's actually talented, boom, boom. And leads me to an interview. And then that's how I got on like this shit, you know what I mean? Where it's like, oh damn, it's something happening over here.
where it's like, fuck the old head, fuck J. Cole. And honestly, I don't really know what their problem is with J. Cole, but that's just another point. And I like how he used his alter ego, you know what I mean, throughout the album or on certain parts of the album, to where he talks about, King overdosed, kids on drugs, killing our demons. And that's a lot that I guess a lot of people really couldn't appreciate, and I know the new generation wouldn't appreciate, but it's a lot of good things on this album that I took away from it. I personally love the record about his mom. I definitely can identify that. If you've never been through that, be thankful. That's like one of the hardest things to ever go through, to see your mom, kind of being an alcoholic or whatever the case may be, because you look at her and you know that's your mom and you love her and you hate to see her in that state. I definitely understood that record and loved it. The Brackets record was another one, to where it's just like you hear like the little nigga got his first $1 million check and he's excited, but then he ain't understanding what taxes is. And that's the part where he's telling them like, man, you need to invest in, something that means a little more, from, a home, buying one for your mom, you know what I mean? And basically don't waste your money on a lot of bullshit. And I just thought that was pretty dope to hear that. At first listen, I was just like, wow, this album is kind of different. KOD, ATM, the Kevin Hart record, definitely he took a shot at Kevin Hart on that joint about, cheating. And in a retrospect, he could be referring to himself, you know what I mean? But I don't really look at J. Cole as being the type of person that preaches one thing and does another. And then it goes into, like I said, Brackets, where I like how he has the Richard Pryor excerpt in that song. I thought that was pretty dope. And yeah, man, like the first half definitely is him showing the new rappers, like, look at the shit y'all do. It's easy, but at the same time, this is how y'all should be doing it. Like, if you're gonna make a song, even if you use that cadence, at least be saying something. And Kendrick kind of did that on his album, and so did Bobby with the new stage, like mumble rap type, Migo type flow and shit like that. And I thought that was pretty dope. But overall, it was a good album. I walked away from it enjoying it. He said a lot of great things on there. And some people think that the last track is the intro to another project. I won't get into that conspiracy theory, because I didn't think that, but people thought that Kendrick was supposed to drop another album. In a sense, he did, because if you play the album backwards, it's supposed to be like another album. I kind of did this with J. Cole album, but it was just like, it don't really got that same feel. You know what I mean? But overall, yeah, man, it was a solid project. I definitely enjoyed this a little bit better than his last previous album. And 2014 Forest Hills Drive was also a good one, but it just had some records on that shit that was like, I really don't know about that. You know what I mean? But the first half definitely is kind of little, you know, if you really enjoy hip hop, you get it. But it's just like, the second half is definitely, you know what I mean, the meat of the album. You know what I mean? Where it's just so impactful and so thought provoking to where it's just like, Jesus, J. Cole, what are you saying right now? This is incredible. At least that's what I got from the album. And I actually like the visual that he dropped for ATM. It's pretty dope. And it's a good project. You know what I mean? I can see people enjoying this album a little bit more than this second one. I mean, not the second one, but second to last one. And then the last one. This is like his 5th album. So his 3rd and 4th album. You know, those are the 2 albums that people be like, I don't really know about that. But I think he definitely shut down a lot of criticism with this album. He said a lot in this album. And a lot of people have a great interpretation on what the album is actually about, and that's dope. But I always like for the artist to come on and do an interview to actually break the album down and what's the meanings and why did you say this and why does this lead into that type of interview. I don't know if J. Cole really do interviews anymore, so I don't know. And another thing I would like to see, I want to see other notable artists give their opinion on this album. I would love to hear what Lupe Fiasco has to say about this album, because we know how he feel about certain fans and, you know, I guess hip-hop heads that pit these so-called lyrical rappers at the top of the heap. And he always has an outstanding way of saying his opinion. So does Wale. I would love to see what Wale has to say about this type of, you know, album J. Cole put out. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people, from what I was seeing too, the cadences that Kendrick was using, we kind of see now with Kendrick, and that's the same shit I thought when I'm listening to him. Like, oh, we heard this from Kendrick. Like, you can't do it as well. The hooks, a lot of people don't really appreciate that because it's just like, yo, you definitely could have used a couple people in these slots. But I get why he didn't. But it just makes for a kind of a cringy listen. It's like, oh shit, that doesn't really work. You know what I mean? But other than that, it was a solid album. It's a solid 8 for me at least. But y'all let me know what y'all thought. It was dope, man. Great listen. You know what I mean? You can learn a lot from it. And I feel like the new generation should take this album and really, instead of bashing it, listen to the game he giving you. Because you're going to look stupid when you're not here no more. Because your fans will grow up. And they will not be on the same fuck shit that they own now. Because they kids, you know what I mean? We always kids at once, but sometimes you got to grow up. But that's just what I thought. Y'all let me know what y'all thought about it. And yeah, man. 1.